I am suffering from a book hangover. No, but in all seriousness, I actually do have a wicked book hangover. I don't want to read anything else for a while. So today's review, the cause of my hangover. The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. This book is amazing. No, when I say amazing, I don't think you really understand. This book is amazing. Like, mind blown. But because it is so amazing, I don't want to read anything else. I feel like I need to just let everything marinate and fully process what happened to me from this book. I'm sure you've all felt the same at some point. You've just read something and man, whew, all the feels. To discuss this book, I don't know if anybody watched my last review, which was of The Gargoyle, but this book is actually kind of similar. Maybe that's why I liked it so much. It's another book of stories within stories, and it is, again, kind of dark, kind of gritty, a lot of stuff happening. So, synopsis. The main character, who is left kind of vague. We don't really get too much info on her, and I like it that way, but regardless, she is left somewhat vague. Is sent a letter from the world's most famous author. Now, the world's most famous author is dying. She is terminally ill. For years, this author has been interviewed countless times about her past and about who she is, and every time she has essentially made up a story. None of the interviews that she has given were real. She just makes stuff up on a whim and sends the interviewer away with a tall tale. Now, at this point, when she is dying, she wants the story, her story, to be told. She wants the truth to come out. So she sends a letter to this girl who works in a bookstore. And her hobby is writing biographies about people who are dead. One of her biographies got published in a very small, very niche book about very not famous people. So this author chooses her. The setting is in England, although again the time period is kept vague. We're not exactly sure when this takes place. The writing in this book, oh my god. I think this is what's contributing to my hangover, is this was so gorgeously written. Oh, I just can't. I just can't. There's no words for how this book made me feel. There are two quotes I would like to read to you from this book that I think will help get my point across as far as how it is written and how we as booktubers can relate. So the first quote, and I'm sorry, again, I'm using my notebook because my memory is failing me miserably today. Again, hungover. There's something about words. In expert hands, manipulated deftly, they take you prisoner. So much that. Yep, that essentially sums it up. That is what reading good work should feel like, and that's what I felt like reading this book. I felt like I got sucked in and then trapped there, but I liked it. If that makes sense. Quote number 2. Again, this ties back into my theme of being hungover, being stuck in this book and not being able to move on. I struggled with the sensation of stray wisps of one world seeping through the cracks of another. Do you know the feeling when you start reading a new book before the membrane of the last one has had time to close before you? You leave the previous book with ideas and themes, characters even, caught in the fibers of your clothes, and when you open the new book, they are still with you. I mean, yeah, that's really kind of what I feel like right now. I don't feel like I'm ready to move on. I don't. I feel like I need some time to process all of that. In a good way, in a good way. No, this book was phenomenal. Oh, I don't have a single complaint. So the other thing that I really enjoyed about this book is I had no idea what was going on. just when you think you've figured out what's going to happen, that doesn't happen, something else happens. It was tied together and not tied together, and loose ends and tied up loose ends. So good. I'm usually really, really good at figuring out what is going to happen, and I can usually deduce what is going to happen, making predictions and having them actually be what happens. That is not what happened with this. And by the time I got to the end, none of what I thought was going to happen happened. None of that came into play. This book threw me through a loop every chapter. I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea where it was going. And just when I thought I figured it out, nope, wrong again. I loved that. I was shocked and surprised and so happy that I didn't know what was going on. For once, in a very long time, an author threw me. And threw me pretty hard. I mean, this book... Twitter pated over this book. I don't think you understand. I think I gave this book a 4-star on Goodreads. I don't know if I've mentioned it. I don't give 5 stars on Goodreads. I don't know why. There's really no method to that madness. I just don't. 4 stars for me means, holy crap, I love this book. I'm never giving it away, ever. So that's... By the way, yeah, I noticed that I can do this and display the book while I'm talking without freaking holding it and waving it around. So I'm pretty excited about this discovery today. Yep. Took me a while to figure that out. Not too proud of myself for taking that long. But I discovered something. I credit it entirely to this book. All the things that are going right with my world lately are due completely and solely to this book. So Diane Setterfield, you rock. You've made my life better. And you have added so much to it. And you forced me to think creatively, and look what happened. This happened. Keep on keeping on, girlfriend. I really like you. Here's something else I have really enjoyed about this book. The author found a way to include some very dark, triggery material throughout the book, but yet somehow managed to keep the overall tone of the book as light. I don't know how, but that's how it played off. It didn't read as a dark, depressing book. If anything, it was rather uplifting. But be forewarned, there is some triggery material. Spoiler alert, if you don't want any details, you should pause it right now. Dark and triggery material, in no specific order. Incest, rape, incestuous rape, abuse, self-harm, scientific experiments, neglect, suicide, institutionalizing people in asylums, mental illness. I mean, the list goes on. It's quite a list. And yet with all of that, it still doesn't read as dark. It still reads as very light. It's uplifting. It's beautifully written. I wasn't finding myself depressed or shocked. Well, shocked, yes, but not... I wasn't grossed out, put it that way. Okay, spoiler alert over. All in all, this book, Vanna White action here, is easily jumped into my favorites. I don't know, Ashley, if you're watching this, if I'm going to send this to you, because I kind of don't want to. I kind of want to keep this book forever and ever and ever, because I think I'm probably going to reread it like 4 or 5 times. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I really wanted to cover about this book. I'm still dealing with the book hangover, and again, usually, okay, I take copious notes when I read. This is all I have on the whole book. That's it. That's all there is. Because I got so sucked into it that I forgot to take notes. That says a lot. I usually manage 2 or 3 pages of notes per book, if not more. I got to the end of the first page and then just... So I think this is going to be a really short review, but that's all I really have to say. I loved this book. I don't want to give it up. I want to reread it. It gave me a hangover. Beautifully written. I mean, there's just... I feel like I can't accurately describe how much I enjoyed this book without gushing and making it annoying. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that. So if you are looking for a book that has stories within stories and is dark but uplifting, and you're looking for something really unpredictable that you're not going to know what happens, and then this is a book you should check out. Questions, comments, concerns, anything, just you want to know how the weather is where I live, you want to know what kind of anything, I don't know. Feel free to leave them below. I have a Twitter. You can find me on that. You can tweet me. Other than that, I got more stuff coming this week. I think I'm trying to do a bookshelf tour of the very small area I got going on here. So, I'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this really weird, hungover, gushy review. Fuck. Why? Why? Maybe it'll help if I just scream why at the top of my lungs repeatedly. Maybe that will help. My nose is itchy. I feel like I have a dog hair on my face.